This is an absolute case of don't believe what you read on Wikipedia. The Wikipedia pages, all four of them, are based on content creator links and no reliable primary sources. Some of the statements made in those pages cite sources, again, blogs and the like, but the sources do not actually say what the page says. They don't match up. So let's work through it. Fernando Hernandez Leyva is 61 this year. He's actually 60 according to AP. Wikipedia and content creators that base their content on these Wikipedia sources will tell you that when he's about 22, he was convicted of 33 counts of murder committed all over Mexico. Well, not all over. 5 states, 5 of Mexico's 32 states: Morelos, Jalisco, Colima, Guanajuato, and I don't know how to say the next one, but I'm going to say Michoacan. Uh, Even though he was just 22, he confessed to 100 killings and he's suspected of 137. This makes him one of the most prolific serial killers in Mexico and in the world. But is any of that true? No, it's not. Let's first just say that there is some, but not enough, credible information about old Fernando. For example, some sources will tell you he was arrested at 18, having killed 137 people, which seems completely unrealistic, especially given that no news source we can find repeats those allegations. One source says the killing was across 4 states. Another will say 6. One source will say that he was arrested twice over a period of 13 years for killings, but he escaped each time. That would mean that his first killing and his first arrest was when he was 9 years old or younger. We think that what is meant in these sources is that after he was jailed, supposedly, in 1986 or 1989, depending on the source, he escaped prison twice and then was recaptured. And after he was returned to prison in 1999, he stopped with the whole escape attempts thing. When he was returned, he tried to commit suicide but failed. Is any of that true? Not really. No, it's not. Not according to primary news sources. It's also possible that he was beaten into confessing, given that he retracted his official confession later and would admit to killing only one police officer and kidnapping a journalist. In fact, that would be what he told the court and the media after his first court appearance, according to reliable accounts of what happened in 1999. In fact, he was only ever convicted of one murder and given a 30-year sentence, according to Associated Press. All of the other news sources we are able to find use exactly the same AP article with varying and sometimes wildly misleading headlines. So, if you're only reading the headlines and you're using those as facts for your content, for your paper, for your school presentation, you're going to be sorely disappointed. The AP has had a reliable bureau in Mexico since at least the late 1800s, and they report on all manner of crime. And I do mean all manner of crime. And they most definitely report on serial killers and serial killing suspects. They also report on the brutality of police, the number of false confessions, corruption in the police forces in Mexico and in the Mexican government generally, which has been improving over the years, but in 1999, when Leyva was arrested, was just wild. He was definitely a suspect in 137 murders, and he may have been charged with 33 counts back in 1999. It's not exactly clear from AP sources, and other Mexican news sources. And 1999 is actually when he was arrested and when he faced trial. The suspected murders were said to have been committed all over Mexico. It doesn't name any particular states. Okay, none of those sources name any particular states except they do name Mexico City. And it didn't just involve Leyva, it involved a whole gang of accomplices. And psychiatrists would study him. That is true. That's something that the Wikipedia articles say. And they would find him a psychopath and that he murdered for the pure satisfaction of doing so. But that information comes from a prosecution source and was likely an investigatory report. So something that is used to support, say, a criminal profile or to further some investigation, to give interrogators methods of gaining a confession, a proper one. The photo that is being distributed all over the internet that purports to be Leyva does not come from any reputable source that we are able to locate. Google Lens reports only content creators as the source of this photo. And there's actually 2 different photos that are used by different content creators. So we're not even going to bother to show it here. We would also point out that there are several dozen Mexican sources of primary criminal information, including the justice offices of each Mexican state. Not a single one reports a serial killer with the name Leyva. They just don't. Or his alias that he's purported to use. Pancho Lopez. Pancho Lopez is quite a famous alias in Mexico. There's been parody songs, parody films, all using the name Pancho Lopez when they're sort of mocking or satirizing something else. It's just a very common satirical name. Given the paucity of the details, including names of victims, locations, dates of murders, the lack of any credible sources that show he was convicted of 33 counts of murder, we're going to call this myth and not reality. Leyva is not a serial killer. He is likely what the AP articles say he was, a suspect in 137 murders. Due to a confession that was likely beaten out of him, a convicted murderer with 1 murder conviction and a suspect in many cases that have not been reported on since 1999. So, thanks for listening. If you're enjoying these videos and you want to see more, please click the subscribe button and hit those notifications so that you don't miss any uploads. We appreciate you. Thanks.